this week's episode of One Piece, things get super! It's Franky versus Senor Pink, the big cyborg versus the big baby, rocket launchers versus diapers, the possibilities are endless! If an episode is going to involve Franky, then sign this guy up right here. I love episodes that involve him because they're always really memorable and a lot of fun. And you're definitely going to remember this one because he's fighting against a dude who is dressed as a massive baby. He also happens to be a hit with the ladies. He also has this cool ability where he can touch the ground and swim through it. I'm not sure how this is going to be used in battle aside from just like sneaking up on people, which he does to Franky this week, but they don't really start their fight quite yet. He just sort of pops up through the ground, swirling upwards very slowly, trying to catch Franky's attention. It's also worth mentioning that Senor Pink can take a punch like a champ, because he takes one of Franky's strong rights right to the face and just gets up with nary a scratch. But Franky this week was awesome. I love how he just runs up to the toy house and starts firing on it with his massive guns. It totally reminds me of that one guy from Predator who was just blowing away the forest with his Gatling gun. Just really satisfying, and he's just a really fun character to watch. The other things to take away from this episode is, of course, they are just reminding us that, yes, Sabo exists. Luffy is having all of these memories he spent with him and Ace, and Zoro is constantly questioning, who the hell are you talking about, Luffy? Just a little bit of humor, and they're just sort of trying to keep us interested in the whole Sabo subplot, which, that's pretty much all they do with it in this week's episode, which is kind of disappointing, but there are a lot of other stories going on in Dressrosa. So let's talk about what I think is one of the funniest scenes this week, and something that needs to be a GIF immediately, is when the Tontada tribe is picking up Robin and Usopp, and as soon as they make it to the factory, they slam Usopp right into a wall. And it's been a while since I've just had like a big, uninhibited, loud laugh while watching One Piece, and that's exactly what happened when I saw that. And just, God, it's so funny. I love Usopp so much. He's such a great character in foil, and I love that scene when they're sneaking into the factory and he's trying to hear what's going on, and the most disturbing thing is going on when this toy is getting ready to be thrown away and killed, and then they walk in, they see all this crazy shit going on, and it's just like this massive port underground where all these pirates can come in and do all this secret trading and everything, and of course it's very ominous, and just Usopp just can't even take it. He freaks out. To be continued screen. So, what's the rundown on this week's episode of One Piece? Very simple, but very effective. They introduced a lot of key characters and gave names to some people, and some that you might even have forgot about, because as they're traveling through the tunnels with the Tontada tribe, they actually talk about the different, like, leaders and all of the, like, lieutenants who are working under them, and some of them I still cannot wait to see in battle. In particular, I want to see Treble. I really want to see what he's capable of, because they've been building him up so much, and he had a really creepy scene where he was hanging out with Sugar this week. And then there's the members of Diamante's group. There's Lao G, the old martial arts master. I'm always into those type of characters. We've already seen Dellinger. And the other one that we already saw, he was originally wearing the top hat. I believe his name is Gladius. I just like that character's design. And damn, the character design in this entire arc is amazing. And that's another thing that I just love about this arc so much, is that it's taking the weirdness of One Piece and just going nuts with it and having a lot of fun. And for people who really like the oddness and ridiculous of One Piece's art style, I think that's what makes this arc right here just really appealing. And I also think that's one of the biggest hurdles for people who actually don't like One Piece, because initially I hated One Piece, and a lot of that had to do with the art style itself. I just felt it was way too weird and too cartoony, and I just didn't embrace it, and it took me a while to do that. And after a while, I started to really love that weirdness and look forward to how strange things are. And this episode right here just really reaffirmed why I love the show so much, for its creativity, and of course for its humor and its action. It all mixes really, really well. So I liked this episode a lot. I love the fact that Franky's getting ready to go into battle, because I think he just needs more fights in the series, because he's so awesome. A lot of people, you know, they like to group Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji together as like the big badass fighters, the big three, if you will. And I want it to be the big four. I want Franky to get in there and start tearing stuff up, because just look at him. The possibilities are endless for what they can do with that character. He's a cyborg who can constantly transform into things and pilot giant robots. Just, they can run the gamut with him, especially in this arc, and with all of these interesting characters for people to meet and fight against. Just, Dressrosa's got me really excited, and little by little, like I said, it's becoming my favorite arc of the series, and I just love all the twists and turns and new introductions, and just they got to go through all of them. None of these guys are going to get skipped. They're all going to get some face time, and I'm just really excited for that. This week's episode, though, was pretty good. It had some decent animation, especially during the Franky scenes, and the scene where Senor Pink was coming up through the ground. That all looks pretty cool. But for the most part, just a simple episode, simple artwork, but something that One Piece fans will definitely enjoy because they're introducing a lot of new characters, they're moving the next part of the story along, and there was even a little bit of Rebecca action at the very end. So Rebecca fans, check that out. Pretty cool stuff. So I'm going to give this week's episode a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it, all for the Franky scenes and the introduction of Senor Pink. He was just a lot of fun. He's ridiculous. He's a dude dressed as a baby. When his mouth gets dirty, he rips a woman's bra off and uses it to wipe his mouth off. It's just hilarious. Check out this episode. It's a lot of fun, and let's get excited for the rest of Dressrosa arc. Thank you guys for watching my review. Before you leave, please hit that like button so you can give this video a thumbs up. And before you go, please tell me what you thought about this week's episode of One Piece. Who was your favorite member of Doflamingo's army they introduced this week? And what are you looking forward to seeing in the rest of the Dressrosa arc? Remember guys, if you have not subscribed to our channel already, please go ahead and do that by clicking on this little icon right up here. I'm sure it's waving around my finger somewhere. And you can also check us out on Facebook and on Twitter.